what's best for you. But don't condemn someone. Don't call someone stupid. Don't call someone a bunch of names because they don't agree with what your choice is. That's life, baby. Some things you're going to agree with and some things you're not. And sometimes you just agree to disagree and you keep it moving. I don't dislike my mother and my stepfather because they chose to get vaccinated. I don't dislike my cousins who chose to get vaccinated. I don't dislike my family members who are making the choice not to. I love you all, not because of what you choose to do with your body. Like, some shit has to be common sense. And again, that's where we're getting lost at, and that's where a whole bunch of wacky shit is going on. You got people wanting to attack people and do all this shit they're doing in London. Papers, yeah, they're doing this shit in London where they're doing vaccinated trains and unvaccinated trains. And the people who are vaccinated get the first preference. And you have to show your papers and prove that you were vaccinated. So if I'm on my way to work and I forget my papers because I woke up late, now I have to take the unvaccinated train because I can't prove it. And if the same guy who saw me yesterday wasn't working, what? I'm just ass out now? Or what if I'm not vaccinated, I'm running late for work, and I just get on the last car of the train and hopefully you won't get to me in time to check my papers? Then what? Like, no, this is not slavery 101, son. This ain't the Gestapo. Like, we're on the way to that for sure.
You know what's crazy, though? This is what's wacky to me. What's really wacky to me is, like, and I always tell my friends, I'd be like, the world that's being created today is not the world being created for the older generation. Because everything that's going on now is based off of the future. And the future is that our generation, we won't be here anymore. So our generation won't be here anymore. So, like, say a kid is born today. He don't know any different than what's going on. Like, if you're born today, you don't know, like, that this is not freedom. You think this is what it is because this is where you were born at. It's like people being born into the computer age. We knew life before computers. Today, people don't know life. A lot of people don't know life before computers, how to cope. You know, like what we call freedom. Like, I remember getting on, people was transporting everything on an airplane because we didn't get searched like that. 9/11 changed all that, but you skiing on the airplane, water bottles, lotion, whatever, knives and all types. Motherfuckers had guns on planes. People was transporting cocaine taped to their bodies on the airplane. All that's over. That was freedom. That was freedom to move about as you were. And now you got to go. You got to go on the plane. You got to have sweatpants on and flip flops because you're going to be really inconvenient. You got to take your shoes off, everything off. I remember when we didn't have to do that. That was real freedom. There was a lot of things back in the day. So younger people
also going to be molested. Don't forget.
Yeah, they're going to fill you up. You got some creep filling up the chicks. Like, yeah, I'm doing my job. Hey, don't fault me for doing my job. But, and young people don't understand why older people be fighting for certain things because we know what life was before a lot of things. When you're born into something, you don't know anything. It's the same thing like if you was born into slavery. You would think slavery is how it is because you don't know anything before that. So life starts for a lot of people today. That's why history is important for you to, to be inquisitive about, hey, wow, this is a big difference. I like the way they was living. So don't always throw out like history. History is everything. And there's a lot of things where like you can't, and they try to cover up a lot of history, but history will make you think. History will really make you think. You got to think about stuff like this. So with all this madness going on and all this wackiness, do your due diligence, do your research, and hopefully don't listen to this. Don't be like a robot. A robot is programmed. Don't be a robot. Be a thinker. Think for yourself. Think outside the box. Be critical when you think, and all that. But don't be a disruptor and an a-hole. Also, like when you get on these airplanes, if that's what it is now, that's what it is now. Wear your mask. Like someone said, throw your headphones on, get through your flight. Don't screw it up for everybody else. Like, come on, man. Think of other people. Be selfless. Be selfless. Serve others. Sometimes it's got to be beyond yourself. Have selfless service beyond yourself. But I don't know, man. There's so much going on here. It was more. What's some more headline news, son? What's some more stuff that's in the news today? What we got going on?
They still have all the stuff going on at the Olympics. Again, there's a lot of things where people are just not coping well.
Yeah. People just can't cope no more.
They just are not there's been a whole lot of pushback recently from, oddly enough, from the so-called heterosexual and straight community. And one thing that happened that stood out to me this week was, there was a lot of spotlights on the, gay Olympians, bi Olympians, and the Olympians who are part of the LGBTQIA plus community, and highlighting, their fiancés and the love that they share and yada, yada, yada. And there was one particular Black Olympian who kept being portrayed as a single mother. And she is a long-time married woman, Allison Felix. And she kept being talked about like it was just her and her daughter. Media kept portraying her as like she was a single woman and never highlighted her family life. So again, these are the kind of things that sometimes when you're a free thinker and thinking for yourself and something is not right, another media outlet had to highlight that it's okay to highlight someone who has a family outside of the other communities. There's a whole attachment of fear of a community is wrong. It's erroneous. It's egregious and all that because you keep putting this stigma on people for your desire of acceptance. But the true acceptance is when you accept yourself, it doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks. You're not going to have to keep pushing yourself on someone to accept you because you already accept yourself. And this push to keep saying you have to recognize me and you have to accept me and you have to like me and this, that, and the third. No one doesn't. You have to accept yourself. That doesn't mean anyone is scared of you. And it doesn't mean anything other than someone doesn't agree. And no one has to. Just like no one has to listen to this show. No one has to like us. No one has to agree with us. We're going to keep talking our shit, though.
We're going to cry about it.
Exactly. Because you know what? There's going to be other people who do want to listen and do want to hear it. The thing is that you don't do it for the so-called acceptance. You do what you got to do because it needs to be done. Some shit is just common sense, and you have to utilize it. And all this not being able to cope and not being able to figure things out and not being able to think for yourself, and you just wait for the media and somebody on TV or social media to tell you how to feel, what to think, what to accept. All that shit has got to stop. Like, come on, snap out of it. No, you shouldn't be fighting on planes. When you're traveling, you don't fight on a plane because it's going to disrupt it for everyone. You're going to delay the flight and make everyone miserable. So just sit down, shut up, and put your mask on and put your earphones on and go to sleep and just shut up.
Get to your destination.
And go have some fun. If you don't like what someone is doing in their bedroom, mind your own bedroom. Put someone in your bed so you don't have to worry about what somebody else is doing in their bedroom. Just live your own life. Stop all this violence and fighting and aggravation because you've been cooped up and you're unsure about where the world is going. None of us knows. Just like Rick said, we can remember when, I can remember when people used to be able to smoke weed on the train before weed was legal. You just did it anyway. I remember when, when all kinds of shit was free and now it's not. I can remember being able to walk my child onto an airplane if they were going somewhere. Now you just got to hope they make it to there. After you drop them off, you got to hope that they make it and find their way. Like, again, some shit should be common sense. No, I shouldn't be handing my kid over to some flight attendant and hope they get on the right plane and keep my fingers crossed that it all works out. Some shit, yeah, y'all next generation got to make it better. But some of the shit that we had was actually all right, and it's just being ruined. Some shit is just going straight wacky, which is straight whack.
That is 100% correct. You know, because you're caught up. It's like being, you're giving the red herring. The red herring, it's going to take your scent off of what's the real, you know, the real things that's going on. And it's a lot going on that's above our pay grade. It's a whole lot going on that's above our pay grade. And we're just being taught to fight each other and not watch the higher ups. So you got to keep your eye on the prize. You actually got to have a prize before you can keep your eye on the prize and not get caught up with the, you know, them throwing you off the scent of, you know, what's really going on. Because there's something bigger than us going on. There's just too much happening. It's just way, way too much happening. And we're fighting over minor things. You know, like one of my biggest things I always say, I always talk about this with someone. I'd be like, yo, taxes, like we never all band together and fight against taxes, but we'll fight for a higher wage. Most of the time, the wage ain't the problem. It's the tax. It's how much getting took out your pay. Because there's houses that you can live in for that wage. But when they take that tax out, you can't even afford that house, the low income houses, because so much taxes is getting took out of your paycheck. And that's the real fight. You got to watch. You got to watch a lot of things. You got to watch what's being put in front of you. And you got to watch what they're trying to make you fight for. Because they're never going to give you what you fight for. They're going to give you what they want to give you. And you're going to be happy. You're going to be like, hold on. It's not what I was fighting for. This is not what I wanted. Exactly. Like, this is not what I wanted. Why did you give me this? I don't want this. And but you're gonna accept it, and you're gonna be happy. And the next thing you know, so what you done forgot everything about what you fought for. You like, dang, you done forgot all about that. Because they threw you off the scent. Like, you told me something. They had a hip hop something.
November is now hip hop awareness month, or the history of hip hop is now for the month of November, and our politicians called that a victory, and it was like, who asked for that? Who asked for hip hop history awareness? Like, huh?
Yeah. See, this is what I'm talking about. Do we need a hip hop awareness month? I'm aware of hip hop. Hip hop started in the Bronx. I'm aware of the Cold Crush Brothers.
Who's denying you your right to know that is what I want to know.
Who denied me my right to know about hip hop when I grew up in the hip hop era? I know everything about hip hop. Easy AD is one of my best friends. He was a founder from the Cold Crush Brothers. If I want to know more about hip hop, hey, guess what? I'll go call my friend. I don't need you guys to recognize a hip hop awareness month. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you kidding me? Who asked for that?
Victory.
A victory of what? Because nobody asked for it. It's like black people like hip hop.
No, that's right. It came after that Dipset and Locks verses. That's
Like, oh my God, they're going crazy over this. Hip hop awareness month. What the fuck? Like,
can we get some police accountability? No.
Can we get some low income houses? Can we get lower taxes? Can we get lower taxes? Why we got to get taxed on top of tax? Can we stop that? Can we get a pay grade, a pay rate that increases with inflation? See, the problem is inflation increases, but your pay rate doesn't. These are real issues. Real issues. But that's for another show. We don't want to give it all away. The game is to be sold, not told.
With that being said, we might as well say the revolution will not be televised. It will be podcasted. But I'm saying, this is what's wacky to us this week, is that people cannot cope and need to learn how. Find you some breathing exercises. Do something. Figure